Okay. Greetings, dear, precious, magnificent, beautiful spirit, soul, divine being, wowee that you really are. And, why should we make up a fake self when we have the real that is absolutely glorious, you see? So take a deep breath in through your nose into your heart and out through your mouth. Do another one. The breath is what's keeping you connected to the physical body. And breath is very important, you see, because the mind operates on oxygen just as the body operates on oxygen. When you breathe into your heart, you deprive then that thinking machine of energy so it doesn't operate. And what happens is you give the power to yourself. Now here. Woo-hoo! All right. So here's the topic. Be relentlessly, what would you say, focused on your path. Path, P-A-T-H. Be relentlessly focused on your path. I want to read something to you. I'm really been into quite a while because I love the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the ancient teachings of truth, and yet they're not teachings that you have to memorize, you have to be tested on. They're actually, what would you say, teachings and statements to bring you to yourself, where after all, you don't need that any longer. And yet you don't disk it, you acknowledge it, and if you need it, you go back to it to remind you of who you are. And you'll know that because of your application of the teaching. A lot of people, they spout off a teaching, but they don't get the value of it because they're maybe just good memorizers. I knew this person, really good memorizer, could remember all the stuff, but really never actualized it or put it into her life. And so when there really came the time of need, the person didn't have it because they would just memorize. And that's what people get good grades for in school, is because they can memorize. But that does not help them to be powerful because they're giving their power to what they've learned or the knowledge or the information that they've been given to by others that really isn't self-empowering, you see. It continues with basically the confusion of a mental reality, a digital reality. So I'm going to read to you from the 11th canto. And this is 11th canto, chapter 7, verse 37. And I'm not going to read it exactly, but it says, a sober person. And so what they mean, the sober would be an intelligent, conscious person who's not mystified or deluded or in a trance state, but is clearly self-knowing and self-trusting. So a sober person, even if harassed by others, look at this, even if harassed by others, the oppressor or the aggressors are acting and then what happens is we act helplessly under the control. Oh, I got it. I forgot I didn't read it correctly. Even if we're harassed by others, we know that the aggressors, that's it. You know the aggressor, the person who's harassing, the person who's putting you down, the person who's trying to depower you or overpower you or dominate you or take over your life and probably you could be afraid of or intimidated by. You see, how do you get your power back? You first have to understand that that person who is the oppressor or that individual or whoever that is under really basically, they're acting helplessly under the control of a mind. That's all. Of thoughts, of beliefs, of threats, of concepts, of ideas and sense that they have agreed with, that they've taken on, and it's based basically on fear and lack, and the person is in envy. And envy is the symptom of the infection, I would call it, of a mind virus that distorts our true divine reality with a false reality that is based on scarcity, you see, and fear and doubt. And the big thing I feel so fortunate that I'm a teacher because I'm a student. And when you're teaching, or you're like, any job is worthwhile as long as it's honorable, and it's for the welfare of all living entities, including animals, you see. And that's possible. And we start realizing as we do this more and more how much our lives have been contaminated with violence and blood and pain and suffering to other human beings, other divine beings. And you say, well, they're eternal, they're not really affected. Yes, but because, you see, with how the mind operates, the conscious, the subconscious, it doesn't know the difference between what's real or pretend, what you make up. Just like if you're sitting and watching a movie, or you're watching something and you're absorbing it in the sense without discernment, without knowing that it's what it actually is, people get impressed with that and identify with that and take on the experiences. It's just like, remember that horrible movie Psycho so many years ago, was just, and hearing really things about that director person, was not really a very nice person. And yet, and making a movie that is so terrifying that people don't even take a shower. I was afraid to walk in the dark. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like to terrify people, to keep them afraid all the time. So, well, then it'll help them know what's going on. No, it even gives people ideas of what they think they might do. But it's so that you see that, why would someone ever create something that's going to emotionalize terror and fear and hate and all? Why would anybody do that? And so when you look at why that's being done out there, or why someone's oppressing you, or somebody is putting you down, or someone's calling you names, or someone is acting like you're a fool and you don't know anything, and see, because then everybody's all, well, I know a lot, so I'm cool, or I got a lot more money than somebody, so I'm cool, or if you're not in this group, then you're not okay, and it's okay because there's too many people here, so we can kill them all, and that's all not true. But who tells us? See, all basically we know, other than right where we are, is what we're being fed, what we're being told. And so you have to know that these oppressors, when you start to realize, and my book, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business, is an excellent book, and it's great for people out there because they're being oppressed, in the sense they're allowing other people to control them. And then my book, Live Your Bliss, is basically, bliss is a place where you're not thinking, you're into absolute knowing. And when you do use your thinking or your thoughts or your words, because we're in that realm, you know what you're doing, and you're therefore manifesting your own reality as you choose, rather than agreeing to what everybody else is agreeing to, you see. People are, they're all agreeing, well, this is the way it's going to be because somebody said. Well, these are hypnotic commands. Bam, you will. Nobody knows the future, because how you make your future is in the now. That's it. And so you have to understand that these people who are oppressing anybody who it is, it could be a loved one, family member, community leader, spiritual, anybody, and is telling you to be less than who you are, and making you doubt your own inner knowing and doubt your own ability to manifest or create, or so then they'll all take care of me out there, they'll take care of me, they'll do this, they'll give me my cell phone. I mean, really? See how people have become like Miss Havishar in Great Expectations that I had mentioned before, is that when things aren't the way that they have been told is the way to be, and what to have, and how to live, to be normal, to be successful, to fit in, to be all this. This is all just conjuring realities. And you see that people are doing this in their mind, and they're out of control, and they're acting helplessly and have no idea, because they believe their thoughts, and they believe they are their thoughts instead of they're the thinker. And where do the thoughts come from, you see? Thoughts are light, And this is a light reality. This is a light show, you see. So how you do it is just notice that they're acting helplessly, and what they're doing and what they're saying and how they're operating is because they're being controlled. So don't let them control you. You see, don't take offense or hurt your feelings or live in sorrow. Oh, because, my dad never said he liked me. Well, that's his problem. But it's always, well, if they'd only done this. That's lamenting the past, hankering in the future, lamenting the past, ruining every single moment of joy, you see, by, well, that wasn't good enough. I'm not good enough. They're not good enough. And oppressing yourself. Stop policing yourself, you see. And when you do that, you don't allow the oppressors to oppress you. The book for you is also Live Your Bliss, you see. Now, what I want, I'm going to be doing some really cool workshops up here at Mount Shasta in nature, which is so cool. And there's a number of them coming up. And one's on manifesting, how it works, the mastery of manifestation, really important base thing. That's how you do spiritual healing, you see. This is how everything works in the mystic level. And that's the level you really want, because it's the level of divine manifestation. Is so cool. And also doing them on What You Think of Me Is None of My Business on a retreat. I'm also doing the mystic path, for those people who really choose to know how to operate in the mystic realm and how magnificent this and how to do it. Also having, I think I'm doing a couple of them on finding your right work, your life's work, and how to prosper from it and what that really means, and how to create lifestyle that actually works for you. And everybody can do that. You just so what we do is I focus completely on what you need and want. And I don't have more than 6 people at any workshop or retreat. Then I'm also doing a big workshop starting the end of June or the beginning of July. I'll just see. But email me if you want any of this information. Then just email me at terry@terrycole-whittaker.com. terry@terrycole-whittaker.com. And don't be dumb and start putting me on these big mailing lists and stuff like that. That's what I'm not doing to you. I would just let you know every once in a while, as you know, I'm not out there always communicating in newsletters or do all this stuff, because I'm really busy being me, having a great time, you see. And so I'm here to do my work, and my work is for your pleasure and for your happiness and for your eternal prosperity and well-being. I am there to serve you in attaining all that you have in your heart, who you are, the fulfillment of, and I know how to do that, you see. And by knowing how to do that what is so cool, it is the most gratifying, satisfying experience there is to work for the welfare and good fortune and joy and good health and happiness of all living entities, including animals, you see. And so once we start being who we really are, then no oppressor can ever oppress us, because we know exactly what's going on with them, and we're working for their welfare, whether they know it or not. So we do not allow anybody to stop us from being who we are.